actually invest into like another human and help them out, get them on their feet, and then actually help them with workforce development to get them a job. Then I mean that's just doing God's work.
All right. Welcome everyone to join me on this episode of Shinyi's Purpose Driven Investment Podcast, where we talk strategy, learn from each other, and create return that matters. So today I'm very honored to have my friend Dana Jones joining me today. Hi Dana, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Shinny? How you doing today?
I love your background of the office. Tell us where you are right now.
Right now I'm in Los Angeles, California. So that's overlooking the Rams training camp. So if anybody into football, we like overlook and we watch the Rams get ready for the NFL season.
Nice. I like the background. You must be in one of those fancy high rises. It's like an office building.
Yeah, thanks, God is good. God is
Yeah.
good.
So I'm so glad I ran into you when we were in Monterey the first time, I ran into you and realized that you were actually born and raised in Baltimore, right? That's where you grew up?
Oh yeah. In fact, I just was in Baltimore. Last week I just got back. Like 2 days ago. So yeah, I just came back from Baltimore. It's a little hot and humid over there.
Right. What brought you into Baltimore? I know you have a business there, right?
Oh yeah. I have a business over there. Well, I actually had to come back. Well, I guess three things. So one, my aunt's funeral was on Saturday. So my aunt's funeral, my dad's birthday was Sunday, and then like I said, I had business there. So go back, pay my respect to my aunt, and my family, hung out with the family for my dad's birthday, and then just watch the business and the properties as well too. So kind of do like a lot of things while I'm over there since it's 3,000 miles away.
Right. It's not a quick trip. The other side of the coast, flight to the other side of the coast. I know you own a few property in the city, right? So I gotta ask you because I I specifically don't want to buy property in the city. And I think you're so brave but I think you have a special purpose on why you decide to acquire property in the city, right? Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah. So my property is in Baltimore City. I mean, like you said, it could be like a little rough over there in Baltimore, but me, coming from Baltimore, moving to Los Angeles, I see that was kind of like a need to help out with the crime and all that stuff. So I do have like a transitional home in Baltimore City and also have another location in the county. So that's kind of like my way of giving back because I come from like a real estate investing background, but real estate is cool as a brick and mortar, but to actually invest into like another human and help them out, get them on their feet, and then actually help them with workforce development to get them a job, then I mean that's just doing God's work pretty much.
That is wonderful to hear because that's your way of giving back to the community, right? Not just trying to be an investor trying to make money. So I know you're focusing on currently the sober living space, right? I think you briefly touched on the transitional housing. So let's explain to our audience about that, like transitional housing, sober living specifically. Why did you decide to dive into that space?
So, like I said, coming from the streets of Baltimore, growing up, I had an uncle when I was a kid. He had AIDS and he died when I was a kid from like using drugs such as like cocaine and heroin and stuff like that. And I saw that those drugs was kind of like killing our community. So I was like, man, once I get of age or whatever I can do, like a lot of people they talk about the problem and say how bad it is, but I know I always kind of had in my belly that I wanted to kind of do something to kind of go back and help the people that was kind of getting high off of drugs and stuff and get them on their feet and just show them that you don't have to kind of do that or you don't have to do crime and all that type of stuff to get ahead. So that's why I chose like transitional living because I mean it's a good way to kind of get you on your feet. And then also we have like a workforce development component right there that we can actually show you how you can get a job as well too. So instead of talking about the problem, being a solution to the problem.
That's very interesting because you offer them safe shelters, so to speak. These kind of client usually is really hard for them to find traditional housing. So you, as a special housing provider, to target this client, you also offer them, you say workforce support. What does that mean? Do you help them with any job hunting or prep them, financial literacy? Can we kind of dive into that a little bit more?
I mean, well, it's a little bit all of it. So we do actually help them with like job hunting. And then also I have a real estate investing background. So, I did a lot of flips over there in Baltimore. And I do also have a couple other properties for buy and hold. So we actually show them like carpentry skills so they can actually go in and do demo to these properties because there's a lot of investors over there in Baltimore. So you teach you how you can do demo, you can do painting, you can actually lay the sheetrock. So actually, you living in this home where we actually imparting and giving you skills. So whereas though you got a trade. So in a trade, you can actually do this. If you're living in Baltimore, if you're living in Detroit, North Carolina, wherever you go to, you have this trade and it's like it's something that you can actually always make money with these two hands. Just let these hands be good.
That is such an empowering strategy. You basically can kind of empower them to make, work put their labor into work and earn living, keep them aligned with their purpose and everything. How did you find these clients? Because I assume they come out, I imagine, because I used to work in the hospital, actually right in Baltimore. I used to work in the Baltimore Medical Center, University of Maryland. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Right next to MLK. We're dealing with a lot of people having some drug abuse problem just because community there, it's a little bit different world than what other people outside could possibly imagine. So how did you source these clients? Right? I'm curious about like how did you find them to ensure that they can come to your house instead of going wandering on the street?
We have like some case managers that we deal with, parole and probation, and also like you said, like hospitals such as like John Hopkins is having like an outreach manager, just kind of like hitting the pavement and just talking to people. So once you start talking to people and through the power of manifestation, once you put it out there, then they actually just start coming back like a magnet. It just attracts itself.
Maybe we can have you like pull out a couple of the inside picture in the house that you had set up for those people. Because I remember you showed me a little bit bits and pieces. We can include the link here. It was such a well positioned and well furnished house. It's unlike any other sober living house that I've been to, and so I can really tell that you put your heart and soul into that. You specifically furnish your house, position your house to make sure they feel like they're living in a great, almost like executive rental. I will put it that way. So it's very interesting that, it's not the typical sober living I've seen. Can you share with us why you decided to do it that way? Separate yourself from the regular, very basic furnishing sober living house.
I mean, because you figure one thing is all about like your mindset and self-esteem and things of that nature. So if somebody's like doing a little bit down in their luck, who wants to put them into a home that you wouldn't even live in? So for me, I look at it actually helping out a king or a queen. So in order to actually help or show a person that you're a king or a queen, you want to put them in that type of environment. So for all my homes, I always had environments whereas though I would actually stay there. So if it's not nothing that where I wouldn't see myself staying, I wouldn't see another person staying there. And I believe, I mean, that's where the reward and the blessings come from. And that's why we kind of keep getting referrals and referrals because everything is like word of mouth. And they say either word of mouth will either make you or break you. So if it's making you, then I mean, that's a good thing right there.
Right. It's all about a reputation, right? What people say behind you, how you operate your house. So when you go out and trying to find the houses that will work for your strategy, what are kind of criteria you're looking at? And, there are a lot of row home in Baltimore City, but I imagine you have your specific criteria when you do a first pass underwrite that you're looking to see if the house will work. What are the criteria?
I mean, you want to get homes that's like near like bus stops because like a lot of people in the homes they don't have cars, so you want to have like a bus stop. Make sure it's like some sort of a food market or supermarket around. So whereas though it's kind of like in a community type setting. So even if you don't have a car, you can catch this bus to get there and just get there because you might have catch the bus in order to go to work. So that's like a huge thing. So you never want to get something that's like on the outskirts. And it's kind of going to be hard for you to get there because if it's hard for you to get there, then it's going to be hard to get out. So that's a one major thing I look for when I'm doing underwriting.
I see. In terms of the size of the house, do you look for like minimum square footage, how many bedroom, how many bathroom?
Yeah, I'll say I look for like a minimum of 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Like the one home I have, I bought that when it was 4 bedrooms and 1 bath, and we renovated. We did like a total renovation. We made it 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. So therefore, right there, even if it's like shared living, you still give somebody the space. I remember when I was growing up, and be like 3 to 4 people or maybe 5 people in the house, and everybody got to like wait in line for the bathroom and knock on the door and rush in there. So you figure you always want to have like a lot of bathrooms in there, so a person can kind of like feel comfortable. So therefore, word of mouth will keep getting out of there. Like, okay, we have a good room and we have a lot of bathrooms. So yeah, that's everything pretty much.
Right. So is everybody having their own bedroom? And bathrooms kind of share, depends on the layout, right?
Yeah, yeah. Bathrooms kind of shared depending on the layout. Yeah.
I see. So tell us about like a difference between renting it to sober living tenant versus traditional rental. Because I imagine you're dealing with people going through some rehab program. Are you worrying about they might be relapsing for some reason, causing some drama or trouble? How did you mitigate that?
I mean, well, you mitigate it with like a strong house manager. So you have a strong house manager to actually go in there. We do like pop-up urines. And then also you kind of get them involved in the community and also get involved in day programs. So they have to go to group counseling sessions. Therefore, right there, it's like kind of certain rules and guidelines you got to abide by. So a person is attending their groups. And then, we make the home, it's not like 6 or 8 individuals is living in a home and they go all by themselves. So we make it like as a family environment. So actually, when you're in a family environment, then you actually lift each other up. And once somebody sees that they have that support, have somebody actually helping lift them up, then it's going to be kind of hard for you to relapse. We see that like a lot of people may relapse when you feel as though you're like on an island alone, like by yourself. You don't have nobody to talk to. So here you have other people you can talk to, and you also have other people you can relate to. So that's like everything.
I see. It's almost like kind of like an army, right? You need your support from your commander, right? That they can understand what you go through. You can kind of basically support each other emotionally, also to kind of help each other. I learned from a lot of different sober living operator. Depends on if you're really running the house yourself or you partner with other entity, nonprofit entity, for example, like Oxford Houses who run the house for you. You just kind of rent it to them as a landlord. Are you operating these houses in-house or are you renting it out to the nonprofit agency?
Oh no, I'm operating in-house. So I mean, with everything, even like with my mortgage company with this right here, everything is all about the team. So yeah, I have a great team. Like I said, a great house manager, intake guy that helps out with case manager. So no, I operate them. We're actually looking for more properties right now. So yeah, that's the
Right.
only way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in my
Are you
to do it.
I imagine you have a team working for you. Are you signing lease for them, individual lease, or is some kind of different agreement, some sort of like a treatment membership agreement?
No, as far as the property, I mean, where the properties we own the properties. Yeah, we own the properties. Then for them, yeah, we do have like a membership agreement, and then we also get funded from the state and stuff like that as well too. So it kind of goes around those tenant landlord laws and all that stuff.
I see. So kind of bypass that, that make it easier to operate. That's a great strategy. So let's talk about number, right? Because imagine for us to be able to what we call impact investing, you're trying to invest and put the money back and pull back to the community. As an investor, it also need to be profitable in a way so that's sustainable, right? So you can keep growing your portfolio, keep producing more houses, to keep helping more people. So let's dive down to the number a little bit of renting just any houses that you own traditionally long-term rental versus kind of convert that into sober living houses. What kind of spread we're looking at average?
I mean, you figure on this one particular house, like I said, the 5 bedroom, 4.5 bed, rental income on that would be like maybe like 2,800, 28 to $3,100. And then if you're doing like a sober living, it's like $800, like $800 like per bed. And it's like 8 people in there, so that's like 6,400. So you figure you would just say the difference in 6,400 opposed to like 3,100. So it's like a huge spread right there.
Wow, it's almost double. Any additional costs that you have to incur? I assume you have to pay the manager, right? Do you have an in-house manager?
I pay the manager and also like the gas and electric. So the manager, the gas, electric, and like the Wi-Fi. So you figure you might take like 2 grand off of that. So that's like 4,400.
Ah, I see. Okay, because you basically rented like a midterm rental or short-term, like you basically cover everything, right? All they pay is $800 per bed, or it depends on where this house is located. That's usually determined by the state subsidy or whatever the state decide to pay you, or do you have any like private pay client as well?
Yeah, no, some of them private pay. So we kind of do a mix of like both pretty much. And like I said, when you're doing intake, it's all about the energy of the person. So once you're doing intake, because like I said, it's like a family environment. So you want to make sure everybody can kind of fit the same energy coming in there so it doesn't be a headache, anything like that. Because bad energy can kind of be like cancer, it could spread. So you start off with one bad person, then it's two, then it's three, then it's four. The next thing you know, the house would be kind of like in chaos. The main
Right.
thing about with these homes are is your house manager. Your house manager is like, man, it's like you have a grade A house manager, because pretty much is my house, but really it's the house manager house, because they have to enforce everything and make sure everything is straight and make sure it is a great family environment.
Are these the manager that you kind of promote from one of the tenants, or maybe tenants not the right word because they're not signing lease with you? Maybe one of the occupants, or do you have to go out and specifically hire this from outside?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you. So we try to just have everything to be like self-sufficient. So like how within. So even once you go into like the next house, you have your house manager at house A. So then okay, so then you have like 8 guys in there, and then you check and see who was the other like nice and responsible guys. So then the house manager leaves from this house right here and goes to the new property, which is house B. And then we just get the next house manager from that house and just keep it being like plug and play. So just keep everything just like self-sufficient and just how within. Because you already have a rapport. Everybody already have a rapport with each other. They already know each other. So it's like it makes it much easier if you get somebody, you go on LinkedIn or you go on Indeed or something like that, you go hire a house manager. They might come in there with like a silver fist, mess with the whole
Right.
environment, yeah, everything. So that's when you can see everything and kind of get a little crazy pretty much.
I see. And so somebody inside, do you give maybe it's like special reduced discount amount or something like that, or pay them on the side?
Yeah. Pretty much like both. Yeah. Just both is still pay them, because you figure one thing about life is you always want to kind of treat people fair. You always want to kind of like pay them and make sure they're okay. As long as you know that they're okay, you don't have to worry about your attrition rate, because sometimes people say, okay, I don't have to pay the house manager, let them just stay in the room. But then it's like, okay, then your attrition rate, the energy, all that stuff might be off. So I look at everything I do as far as long term. So if you treat people good right now, that means you're going to actually have a long term team that you can can build and grow with.
Right. So is that what's next for you? Just continue to build on this sober living center business and just expand from Baltimore City, still within the city?
Yeah, there's a big need for it over there in Baltimore City. And also in the mix of doing it over here in Los Angeles, California as well too. So it's almost like I look at myself kind of like a rapper or something like that. It's like you got to go
Right.
back to the city and where you from. You got to make sure everything is all right there. So now I live in LA. So now I know there's a huge need out here as well too because we have a big homelessness problem out here. So it's like, Baltimore is good. I have the team over there. So now it's time to start opening up and doing things over here in Los Angeles.
That's so wonderful. I have to make sure I maybe arrange a time with you when you are in town next time so we can go tour your facility and maybe highlight you one of my channel to kind of see because I can tell that you really put your heart into it. Because the reason I say that is because this is not your only business, right? You have another business. Tell us about the other business.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, my other business is I'm a mortgage company, so I have a mortgage company called E-Plan Mortgage. So I'm in a like investment group, so real estate mastermind. So we do like a lot of DSCR loans for people, fix and flip loans, owner occupied, multifamily. But I mean, we opened this mortgage company, I would say like 7 years ago. So one thing about that is a good thing about having a partner and also having a great team. So now they take care, they handle the mortgage company. I just do this right here.
So, like, the reason I say that is that because I know that's your other business and you actually made money from the other business and dump that money into this business so you can help more people, which is very admirable. I just want to highlight you on that. Before we dive into what you want to do next, I want to kind of understand how did you start it in real estate and why did you decide to do sober living? I know you touched on that a little bit, but maybe share with us where did you start? Like, how did you start the real estate business?
Man, I kind of like bumped into real estate. So pretty much I had it on my podcast like a while ago. So I was selling cars. So actually, when I was living in Baltimore, I was selling cars. And I was actually signing people up and showing them how they can actually be car dealers as well too. So I was making money off of that as well. So I was selling cars and it was booming. So I remember one day I was at the auction and I ran into a buddy of mine. He said he was into houses. So then I kind of like start talking to him. And so then I got into like fix and flip. And it's crazy that I own a mortgage company now because when I did my first couple flips, I didn't know anything about a mortgage or nothing like that. I think I paid like 60 grand for the house and put like another 90 grand in it from my car money. So I paid out of pocket to do it. So I went from like selling cars and selling cars was like my everyday money. And then I would fix and flip a house and sell that. And that would be my savings. So I would kind of like flip flop them. So the cars allow me to buy more houses and the houses would allow me to buy like more cars. So that's how I kind of like got into it pretty much.
Wow, so you're flipping cars and houses since how old are you at the time?
Say like a good like 21.
Wow. That was in Baltimore City? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was in Baltimore. I remember going to some auctions like Manheim and Odessa. And like I said, I would go to the car auction and I just my mind always thinking. So then I would take people to the auction for them to buy a car and they say, "Hey, what's up? How'd you do this?" And I would just sign them up under my dealership and allow them to be a dealer. So I mean, selling cars was fun. It was fun. Like I said, that would be like my everyday money. So you make 1,500 off a car, might make 3,000 off a car. That's your everyday money. Save it up, buy a house, sell that, make 60,000 and buy more cars and just keep on just letting them both of them like feed each other like peanut butter and jelly.
I love that peanut butter and jelly. It's all gelled together. Yeah, you're very business savvy. I love it. So from that, you decide to kind of dive into business, real estate business, and then also run the business on the side. So you're a very entrepreneurial minded person. Did you learn that from somewhere or you just kind of self taught?
I was saying like my dad and God pretty much. So like even when I was like a kid, my father used to go to King's Dominion. My dad would give everybody like $40. I would kind of like freaking spend like $5 and save the $35 up and go in school and buy some candy and sell candy in school, sell mixtapes in high school. So I just always just believed that's to better myself pretty much. I always figured, as I got older, if I got a job and worked a 9 to 5 and I had to ask somebody, can I go to the bathroom? They say, no, Jones, you can't go. So I'm like, nah, I would just always just bet on myself. And I guess it's pretty like destiny and fate in my own hands through the power of the
Right.
Lord. Yeah, I've been,
Yeah.
shucks, I've been on my own since I was like 15 years old. So I don't know how to bet on nobody else's for myself.
You're getting used to answer to yourself, not answer to somebody else, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty
yeah, and that's
much
what it's
it.
about, and just you just ask God just to lead us and guide us, and it's like, I believe that He blesses us so we can be a blessing to others, and then another thing, I know we touched on, like, the sober living homes and stuff like that, but also another thing is I have an outpatient mental health clinic in Baltimore as well too. Yeah, so, I mean, like, all this trauma and all that stuff going on, we actually have, like, therapists and counselors that can actually help people out, so we have, like, one-on-one individual sessions, and we also have, like, group sessions that kinda help you out if you're going through something like some sort of trauma, even, like, substance abuse and things of that nature as well too. We can help out with that. And that's outpatient, that's not inpatient.
Outpatient, like a same day care, basically. People walked in and they can book the appointment, speak with psychologists?
Yeah, a therapist. You'll speak to a therapist, and then also we'll have like a nurse as well for like medication management or something like that. So you need help with medication. So it's like it's just all about, just seeing like a problem and then just being a solution to like any type of problem. So I know housing was one thing. So then the outpatient component, they kind of once again peanut butter and jelly it collides again.
Gel together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a very complementary business as well, right? A lot of clients who stay in the sober living, they might need additional mental health care support. Did you kind of have that referral going back and forth with them as well?
Yeah, so you give them the option, so it's always good to like have like an outlet. So they don't have to go to the clinic, but if they did want to go and they needed help, we just always had like open door policy for them.
I see. So what's next for you? You've done so much and I know you've been trying to expand. What would you say your next 5 year, 10 year plan? What would that look like?
Well, in Baltimore, I'd say have 5, 10 years. So in Baltimore, we would have maybe like 10 more of these clinics over there, all throughout Los Angeles, California. I would say maybe like 30 of them over here. And then with that right there, like I said, we're actually helping people get on their feet, helping them out with the workforce development. So I would say in like 5 to 10 years, we should at least be able to touch anywhere with like 20 to like 40,000 lives. So like helping people out get off of substance abuse, and also you're helping them out and getting jobs. Because I know 5, 10 years from now, the economy is kind of like tough right now. Everything's going to be super expensive. So let's do our part to actually help empower people so they go out there and actually learn some good money. They don't have to go do regular 9 to 5 or work at Wendy's or Walmart. No offense or anything against that, but they do these hands right here, learn how they can make anywhere from like 40, maybe $50 an hour. So that's it. That's my goal. So I would say like 20 to 40,000 lives.
Yeah, you're teaching them how to fish, not just giving them the fish, which is the biggest problem right now in society. I noticed that like, people who are more successful or they kind of overcome the obstacle is usually before you because we empower them and they learn from doing and they were able to create opportunity for themselves.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing because once you actually show people how they can like create opportunities for themselves, and it's almost like you build like your own community as well too. So you're getting people back on their feet, you're empowering them, you're helping them out, you're actually showing them how to get to fix and flipping homes because I actually came from that world too. So now I have my own crew over here, so we all kind of like eating together. So then everything just start building up, building up, building up, and that's how it grows.
Wow. Thank you for creating such a good movement. And I think this is just so wonderful to hear that we have people like you who are able to give back to the community, use what they learn and earn and dive right into, pour right into the community and serve our community and make it a better place. So I think this is where I think we should end this in such a high note. But I would like to ask people to reach out to you. Like, how can people reach out and help you? What are you looking for that if people find out certain property either in Los Angeles or Baltimore City, how can they reach out to you?
Well, you actually can reach out to me on Instagram, Dana Jones the Mogul. So that's Dana Jones Mogul. That's on Instagram. But you can give me a call, 310-926-6318. And like I said, yeah, we can actually have that conversation because I know I will be looking for more properties like over here, like Los Angeles, California. So yeah, and
Uh,
Baltimore. So both
in
places. So
Baltimore, and that's my town. When you come next time, you gotta call me.
yeah. No, no, I was there. I think I was there for like 6 days, but man, the 6 days seemed like 3 days. Time just go by so
Mhm.
fast.
Thank you again for coming to my podcast. I think everybody from my audience learned so much from you today, and thank you for doing what you do and continue to being awesome.
That's what's up. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.